Hey, have you been noticing that your hips are super tight, maybe because you're sitting too much? Well, then join me for a few simple stretches to release that tension. I'm Christine, I'm a yoga and wellness coach, and I'm here to guide you for some simple stretches to release tension in your hips. So let's start on all fours in tabletop with your hands right underneath your shoulders. And draw your left knee out to the side and then make some big circles with that left knee. We're starting to open up our hips, lubricating our hip joints. And release. Let's do the other leg. Bring your right knee out to the side and make some big circles. What happens when we sit too much, our hip flexors, which is the front of our hips, tighten. And it creates an imbalance that by itself can be really uncomfortable, but oftentimes then our low back comes into it as well. And your tight hips show up as low back pain. And then lower your knee back down. And then bring your left foot all the way out to the side and place the sole down on the mat. And then bring your hips back and then forward over your knees again. So you're rocking back and forth. Your right toes can be either tucked or they can be extended, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And when you're ready with this, bring your left knee back underneath and bring your right knee out to the side. Place the sole on the ground and rock back and back over your knees. And then bring your knee back underneath, untuck your toes if they were tucked. And now let's have fun with this and make some big circles with our hips. So bring your hips back to the side, to the front. And this is something you really can't do wrong. Just have fun with it. You're in the comfort of your home, nobody sees you. Do any shape that feels good for you in your hips today. If you're doing a shape that has a direction, reverse direction. And then come back to tabletop and come onto your knees and step your right foot forward and lean into that front knee. We're now stretching your hip flexors on your left leg. And just have a look at where your right knee is. If it's far ahead of your right ankle, walk the foot forward so the knee is roughly over your ankle. And just notice the stretch along the left front of your hip. Those are the hip flexors. Those are the ones that tighten from sitting too much. You might notice a lot of sensation there, so breathe into it. And then come back up again, back onto your knees, and we have to do the other side. So step your left foot forward and bend into that front knee. You can either have both hands resting on your front thigh or just the left one and the right one maybe on your hips. And now we're stretching our right hip flexors. And then come back onto your knees and sit down on the ground and bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees simply fall out to the side. And then hold on either to the outside of your feet, the ankles, or your shins, and walk your feet closer towards you until you notice a stretch on the inside of your thighs. And I invite you to sit nice and tall and start flapping those thighs as if they were butterfly wings. Yes, in yoga, we have some funny names for some of our poses. Many of them come from animals or things in nature that the old yogis saw during their lives. And then slowly come back to stillness. And then forward fold and let your head hang heavy. Let your arms rest on the ground wherever they fall. And remember to breathe. If your hips are gripping, trying to hold on, see if you can soften into the stretch over time. There's nothing for you to do but just relax into it. And then gently come back up again and place your feet on the ground wider than mat width apart. So it's probably 2.5 feet. And place your hands behind you. Your fingers can be either pointing towards you, away from you, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then windshield wiper your shins from left to right. And alternately, let one hip come off the mat and then the other. So nice big twists. And then the next time your knees are on the left, stay here. So your legs are at 90-degree angles roughly. And then bring your torso facing towards the back. And you can either stay here, this might be enough for you. If you want a little bit more, you can walk your hands forward and maybe come down onto your forearms. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. And then slowly walk yourself back up again. And then let's bring both knees to the right and bring our torso facing towards the back. And you can stay here, or once again, you can walk your hands forward. And I encourage you to let your head hang heavy and just relax into this pose. And then gently walk back up again. And keep your feet wide as they are right now. And forward fold into this wide-legged position, letting your head hang heavy. And then gently push yourself up again and bring your feet about hip width apart and walk them out away from you a little bit. And then lift your left foot and place the ankle on the outside of the right thigh. Flex the left foot and draw the knee away from you. You can actually use your left palm, the palm of your left hand, to gently draw the thigh away from you. This is an intense hip opening stretch. If this isn't quite enough for you yet, you can walk your right foot forward, closer towards you, towards your buttocks, and which will intensify the stretch. And I invite you to have your hands behind you, pushing firmly into the mat so you can sit nice and tall and upright. And remember to breathe. Maybe send some breath into that left outer hip that is being stretched right now. If you had walked your right foot closer to you, walk it back out again and release the left leg. Let's set up for the other side. So bring your right ankle on the outside of the left thigh, flex the right foot, draw the knee away from you, And then really push into your hands to sit nice and tall. If you want, you can walk your left foot closer to your left buttock to intensify the stretch. If you had walked your left foot closer in, walk it back out and release your leg. We're going to finish up with a few stretches lying on our backs. So just come down with your legs out long. And then bend your right knee and hug it in towards your chest. Just stay here in the static stretch. I encourage you to keep your left leg active as well, flexing it and drawing the calf down towards the ground. And then release your left hand down onto the ground to the left of you. Place your right hand right on top of that right knee and use your hand to make big circles with your right knee. See if you can relax the muscles and let the hand guide the movement. We're lubricating our hip joint right now. And then place your left hand on that knee. Bring your right hand down on the mat on the right side. And then use your left hand to draw the knee over to the left side. Maybe your foot will actually be on the ground. And stay in this twist for a few breaths. See if you can keep your right shoulder and both shoulders down on the ground. But the right one has a tendency to want to lift off. So see if you can keep them both down on the ground. And come back, hug that right knee into your chest one last time and then release it. Let's do the same on the left side. Hug your left knee in towards your chest and hold the static stretch for a few breaths. Once again, keep your right leg active as well by flexing the toes. And then release your right hand down on the ground. Bring your left hand right on top of the left knee and use that hand to guide into big circles with your left knee. And then bring your right hand onto the knee, bring your left hand down on the ground and use the right hand to guide the knee all the way over to your right side. And this time, see if you can keep your left shoulder down on the ground along with the right one. And stay here for a few breaths. And come back, hug that knee back in, and then hug both knees into your chest and gently sway from left to right, giving your low back a nice massage as a thank you for doing these hip stretches. And then roll over to one side and gently push yourself up. And I thank you for joining me for these stretches. I hope they release some of the tension you're holding in your hips. If you want to do more yoga videos with me, please peruse my YouTube channel. I've created lots of videos for you. Hope to see you next time. Bye.